All right, welcome back. And I sure hope this is a welcome back. So we are up to Module 8, presenting your solution. So let's go ahead and let's jump into it. First, let's start with the review on slide 2. So step 1 in our process is we're going to build a lot of rapport, right? We want to create that know, like, and trust. We want to make people comfortable. We want to get people to open up. Step 2, we want to create our agreements, right? Our PEAs, pre-engineered agreements. And in doing this, we're going to lay down some ground rules about what this call and what this meeting is going to look like. We're going to set an agenda, and we're going to ask that our clients agree not to think it over. And we're going to do some other things as well. Next is the pain, gain, value proposition, where we uncover that compelling reason to do business with us. Step 4, the money talk. That's where we want to talk all things money. We don't want to sell a product or a service. We want to sell a solution. We want to sell value. That's how we will sell value, not price, right? Step 5, the decision-making criteria. This is where we want to know both the internal, the external reasons for making a decision, criteria. We want to know what the criteria is. And then finally, step 6, we're going to present our solution, presenting a solution. So that's where we are, and that's what we're going to talk about now. So as we go through this, keep in mind, number 1, you've built a ton of rapport with people, a ton of rapport, right? If you've done this right, there's a lot of rapport. By now, you've got them eaten out of your hands. You also have an agreement, and by now you should have an agreement that says if they like your solution, they will give you a yes or no decision at the end of your presentation, right? They can say yes, they can say no, but we got them not to agree, not to say maybe. We've uncovered 3, 4, 5 painful things that they want to avoid this time. We've talked about money, okay? We've prepared them that this is going to cost a lot. We have gotten into, and we have agreed upon a budget. We've gotten into the decision criteria, and we understand that there's certain things they need to see or hear in order to feel like this is the right decision. And then finally, the solution. Now we're going to present our solution finally. So you notice what we've done is we've taken the presentation, we moved it all the way to the end. All the way to the end. So here's our graphic. Selling happens brain to brain. In other words, we have to get out of your brain and into their brain, meaning you know this is a great decision for them. This is the best thing for them. You believe in it. You've got conviction. And you know that, yes, this may be expensive, but them working with you is going to be a huge benefit for them. So you've got to get that out of your brain into theirs. I love that graphic. That's really cool. The problem is you didn't know this. They don't have just one brain. They have 3 brains. Okay, not bird brains like our penguins here, but they have 3 brains. So that's slide 4. Let's move to slide 5 and learn a little bit about these brains. So there's 3 brains. The first brain is the rational brain, okay? We're on slide 5, the rational brain. And the rational brain processes rational, very factual. It's very very dry. It's very data-oriented, okay? It's very logical. Then you've got the middle brain, right? Now, the middle brain will process emotions and feelings, okay? And sometimes they say, men are less in their middle brain than women. I don't know. I'm not an expert on the genders, but I do know that the middle brain is where emotions and feelings are processed. So this is part of the brain that we need to sell to. We also need to sell to the rational brain, okay? I've heard it said that we're not thinking beings that feel. We're feeling beings that think. We are feeling beings that think. So we're going to have to tap that middle brain as well. Now, the old brain is the part of the brain, other two brains, and triggers all decisions. Yes and no. Okay? That part of the brain is called the amygdala, or the amygdala. And it's located in the temporal lobe. It involves memory, emotion, fear. Okay? But this component of the limbic system, it's a component of the limbic system. And if you see here, it's right there, that little white thing in the center of this guy's brain, if you will. So now, we have to sell to the amygdala, right? That's the point we're trying to make here. And there's only 6 ways in. So let's go to slide 6 and look at the 6 ways we can sell to this part of the brain. There's only 6 ways in. First of all, it's self-centered. It only cares about themselves. 2, contrast. The brain immediately notices contrast. That's why things like before and after, rough and smooth, black and white in color, all these sorts of things really stand out and capture the brain's attention. Simple, concrete, and easy to understand. This is not the intellectual brain. Things got to be kind of dumb. The intellectual brain. Things got to be kind of dumbed down here a little bit. Next, it needs to be shown. You have to show this brain. It needs to see. It takes in this information and really needs to see. It needs to be shown. Why are you the best for your customer? Right? You have to show it. Finally, emotions. You've got to appeal to their emotions. You have to remember they buy emotionally and defend it with logic and reason, okay? It buys emotionally. Emotions. We need to trigger those emotions, right? That's a big problem today is people don't sell emotionally. So much sales takes place digitally that we're not tapping into those deep emotions, those burning desires and those fears that drive buying. And finally, when you present, you have to remember the 2 most important things are the beginning and the ending. The brain remembers what you opened with and what you closed with and will delete probably 93% of what's in the middle. So, we said the brain is self-centered. Let's go to slide 7 and take a look at some ways we can appeal to this part of the brain. What does it mean self-centered? Me, myself, and I. It doesn't care about anything not pertaining to them. Okay? Which means your features, all those great things you do, I don't care. Tell me what that means. What's in it for me? Salespeople do a terrible job of this. It doesn't care. It doesn't care you've been in business since 1901 or 1991. It doesn't care that you use standards. It doesn't care if you have systems, okay? It only cares about me, okay? And as being pertained to me, what it's mostly that brain is there for is well-being and survival. So 100% of your message must focus on your prospect, not your services, okay? What they're going to receive, what they're going to be able to enjoy, what they're going to be able to avoid, not what you're going to do, okay? The most important word in the world, what do you think it is? What would you guess? The most important word in sales, in marketing, in anything, managing, hiring, I don't care what you're doing, the most important word is you, right? You don't care if I've been doing this for 20 years. You care about, can I learn this and go out and make more money and get the results, achieve my goals, avoid becoming bankrupt, lying in the gutter, broke, urinating on yourself because you can't afford to pay your bills, right? You want to reach for what you hope is better, and you hope this is going to do that, right? You don't care if I have a PhD in psychology or training or not. All you care about is, will it work? Too much content that focuses on you, your company, your services, your mission statement, your values, your history. The buying brain doesn't care. You want my money? What can you do for me? What can you do for me? So that's what you got to remember here is when you're putting your presentation together. You want to make sure you map out. Now, what can you do for somebody? Let's go back to the pain, gain, value proposition. Take a look at what is driving them, okay? By now, you should have uncovered a compelling reason for them to do business with you. This is just going to be the icing on the cake, okay? However, if you have to go out and do any presentation, these techniques work just as well in that scenario. But we're here talking about sales, helping you increase your sales and grow your business, right? So let's talk about this through the sales perspective. Next, slide 8. We said the brain loves contrast, okay? The buying brain, it's very, very sensitive to contrast. An example of this is you're sitting in a room with 3 other people, and out of the corner of your eye, you notice a 4th person come in you've never met before, okay? That's contrast. That's change, right? It interrupts the pattern. It makes the brain go, whoa, who's in this room with me? They weren't here before, right? So the brain loves contrast. The brain is wired to focus on any change of states, any change in patterns. Why? Because the brain cares about, back to slide 7, right? Survival and well-being, right? That's foremost. So any change in state, any change in pattern gets the brain's attention. So when you can do before and after type things, okay, we'll talk a little bit more about that. We're going to create a little list down here in a minute. But anything that creates contrast, one of the things I always teach my painters to do is to show people what a really good high quality paint job looks like and feels like with samples, and then also have another sample of, you've got good, better, best, right? Well, what's the difference between best and good, right? Compare and contrast. This has real neutral statements are going to be disastrous. Things like we're a leading provider of, what it really likes is the exclusive provider, okay? The exclusive provider. So you must show, tell, and allow them to feel the contrast between what they want, what they have, and what life will be like when they're working with you. Next, make it easy to buy. Some strategies you can use is before and after, okay? Use before and after. Compare safe and risky. One of my clients is a high-priced painter in the Philadelphia market, and they are notoriously more expensive. But what we emphasize, what we've taught the estimators to emphasize is that, you think it's safe to go with the low bid, but you and I both know it's risky because if they can't get the job done, that's going to make you look bad to your customer. Now, you are spending a little bit more money with us. Yes, a few $1,000s. But the safety, the peace of mind, the reassurance of knowing that we can step up and get the job done for you and make you look good for your customer, do you really want to take that kind of risk? Compare what life will be like with your service and without it. That's what we do a lot of, is helping our clients understand what the life is like without having our program in place. Similarity and differences, okay? Always, never, frequently, seldom. These are all ways that you can compare and contrast and use these strategies to help you get the buying brain on your side. Okay, let's go to slide 10. Tangible. Continue on to module 8.2, where we'll finish up the other 4 ways you can sell to the buying brain. I will see you back here in Module 8.2. This has been Carl Utter with Selling Your Solution.